Vincent Kompany was asked about the Premier League's best ever defender. This is what he had to say. It's a weird one because he hasn't been on the scene for as long as these names are mentioned. John Terry, Ferdinand. These guys were there for a long, long time. The Liverpool before Van Dijk and the one after him, it's a completely different setup. And I'll give him that one because of that. Well, Nicol and Moreno and Stevie Nicol with me. Stevie, do you agree with Mr. Kompany?
I think it's very difficult to turn around and say he's the best centre-back ever in the Premier League history because the problem is right now it's current. And that's what's, I think, what Kompany's focusing on. And I think the other thing you have to remember is that it was such an obvious problem Liverpool had. It was such a gaping hole at the back. The reason they couldn't get across the line is because they were losing goals. The best guy around in the Premier League at Southampton, no question, was Van Dijk, and he's come in and he has been superb. He right now, no question, is the top centre-back in world football, never mind just in the Premier League. But you started off by saying, you know, it's a short space of time at the very top with Liverpool, what, 2 seasons? So I'm not quite ready to say he's the best one ever. He's certainly up there in the argument, no question, but just a little early for me to be throwing that sort of accolade around.
Stevie's saying he's just a flash in the pan, Ali.
That's what it sounded like to me. I just think that longevity is part of the conversation when you consider an all-time great. And if indeed we're going to talk about Virgil van Dijk being the best ever in the history of the Premier League, then there has to be more body of work than just 2 seasons. So we're looking at just raw numbers, and the fact is that Virgil van Dijk has only played over 80 games for Liverpool, whereas John Terry over 400 games for Chelsea and Rio Ferdinand over 300 games for Manchester United. And both of them won multiple league titles with their clubs, with Manchester United and Chelsea as well. And so there is not only a sense of what individually they did as players, but what their teams did over the course of multiple years. And longevity, again, has to be an aspect of the conversation. When you consider a player being the best ever, you have to be the best in your position for year after year after year. And I just don't think that Virgil van Dijk has done that just yet. He may very well have the potential to be the best ever, but we cannot have the conversation about him being the best ever defender in the Premier League just yet.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.